Good morning, Infinity. I'll say it again with some sound. Good morning, Infinity. One, two, three. Is this thing on? All right, give it to me one more time. Good morning, Infinity. All right, we seem a little low today, but we're here. We're in the space, and I got a big voice, so we're going to adjust. We want to welcome everybody to the space of infinity as we begin by opening the way with a space of gratitude today. So we invite you to sit a little bit taller in your chairs. If you're at home watching, sit a little bit taller wherever you are. If you're in your car, sit a little bit taller in the car seat. That's all good. Just don't close your eyes when we get to that part. But we want you to breathe deeply in and out through your nose. In and out through your nose. And now add to the practice the closing of the eyes. And just sit for a moment in this cycle of breathing as a space of gratitude. As a space of remembrance. As a space of thanksgiving. From this divine and holy space of stillness, we invite all heads to bow, all hearts to open, as we speak directly to our divine source, our Creator, the God of your acceptance and understanding. O limitless and abundant Creator, we give thanks today for the gathering of the Infinity Fellowship. What a remarkable way to come together to give you honor, to give you praise, and to acknowledge that you are always present. So in this moment, we tap into the awareness that you've always been there for us. Through the good times, through the bad times, through the difficult challenges we faced, you seem to always show up exactly when you are needed, where you are needed, and why you are needed. And that tells us that we are all in alignment with you. We want to give thanks in this moment for some very specific things in this morning. We want to give thanks for clarity. For those who have gotten those moments of clarity over the course of the week, for those who came today seeking a moment of clarity, we speak that their vision will be open, that it will be fixed on purpose, that you will guide us to the answers that we seek, and we proclaim it to be so. We speak for reassurance today. Reassurance that we're on the right path. We know that as we talk about purpose and the pursuit of purpose and the maintenance of purpose on this earth, that sometimes it can get a little tough. And moments like this, we need to be reassured. So we know and we proclaim that we will receive that reassurance from wherever it may be. It may be from a nod, from a conversation, from a handshake, from a hug, from a piece of music. Who knows where it could come from? It's not for us to determine. It's just for us to recognize that reassurance is ours right now. And finally, we speak for peace today, for the peace that passes all understanding, for the acknowledgement that we are exactly where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be. So we speak peace for our families today, for the peaceful resolution of conflicts that simply make us grow, for the peaceful resolution of misunderstandings, and for the peaceful embracing of love, for the celebration of people in our lives who love us through even the most difficult times, who invite us to be our authentic selves. Oh, we are so grateful today for all of these things, and for other things that we cannot put into words. We simply breathe in together. We exhale and feel the love. We speak a wonderful experience of awareness with you today. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. And so it is. As we begin today, our pouring of libations, good to see the faces in the place, see everybody coming back. We acknowledge that we stand on the shoulders of people who came before us. And when we stand on their shoulders, we recognize that we are in the divine presence anytime we pause to recognize and remember where we came from. Remembering those people who got us to where we are. I also like to remind you of what the old folks used to tell me in my neighborhood. Boy, you didn't get here all by yourself. So there were times when I look back on my own life where if it was up to me, I would have not been standing here today. There were things that I was doing, people I was hanging around, experiences I had where I look back and I know that I only got through because my mama, my grandmama, other people were praying for me. And they were intervening on behalf of spirit to make sure that I was covered under their relationship, even when I was in an immature space spiritually. So this is the power of those who came before. And for those of you who have ever sent up a word of light or love for somebody, you know that you may have done the exact same thing. That because you were tapped into spirit, you allowed and you opened yourself to a space where change happened. And so when we pause in this space, we recognize our ancestors. We recognize those who have transitioned to the space of life after life, recognizing that energy cannot be created or destroyed, it only changes form. So when we pour today at our altar, we recognize this energy, this life force called the Ashe. Everybody say Ashe. Ashe. Young people in the back, tell me Ashe. Ashe. All right, good. Love to hear those voices coming up for the pouring of libations. As we remember this life force, we pour our water into the earth that represents what happens to these earth suits when we don't need them anymore. And we say, cool water, freshen our spirits. Ashe. Freshen and consecrate this house for spiritual work. Ashe. Freshen our collective ancestors all together. Ashe. We give praise to Almighty Mother, Father God, Divine Source, and all creation. Ashe. Grant to us peace and prosperity. Ashe. We pour to the energies of the north, where we find our sense of direction and our commitment to be a yes. When we show up in these spaces, that's the first commitment. That's saying, yes, I am here, I am present, I am ready for the world, as they say. Ashe. To the energies of the south and that direction of understanding where you come from, whose you are and who you are. Ashe. To the rising sun energy of the eastern horizon, recognizing that today is a brand new day and you ain't got to bring yesterday into the right now. That's a wonderful gift of recognition. Ashe. To the going down of the sun and the coming of the moon in the west, recognizing that even when it gets dark outside, it may be super black dark. If you've ever been in a cave and it's black dark, they tell you cover up your watch. Cover up your LED screen, because even in black darkness for miles, one tiny little light eliminates the darkness. So the sun and the moon are there to balance us, and in the night, that lunar energy provides light in the darkness. Ashe. To the ground below us, recognizing that we put down our roots through community, through family, through friendship, and that recognition of those roots is what keeps us strong during the storms. Ashe. To that beautiful blank sky above us, where we see the landscape of our dreams. We are gifted with the ability and power to have a blank canvas, almost like this canvas to my left, and you have an opportunity to paint your dreams on it and bring them into reality. Ashe. And to the final space, the space of the human heart. This is the space where symbolically our dreams reside and our willpower resides to bring them into reality. So we speak a loving heart today. Ashe. So now we want to remember those names, those people that you want to call out, those people that you want to allow to come out of your consciousness into the verbal space. Because guess what? When they pop in your mind like that, that's them saying, remember me, remember me, remember me. There's something that you're supposed to learn from my space. Ashe. So let us call aloud those names at this time. Go on and call them out into the atmosphere. Hey, what H carr? I must have got hey. And in special remembrance as those names are coming, I want to pour a special libation out to the energy of Brother Richard Griffin Sr., Ashe. For those of you who may have encountered him over the years, you may not know you encountered him, but I first met Mr. Richard Griffin when I was teaching at Pearl Cone High School, which was an arts magnet school that became Nashville School of the Arts. It was incubated inside Pearl Cone High School. He was the band director and music teacher. He also was a phenomenal saxophone player. He was also a phenomenal band leader. If you've been to any jazz club in Nashville, whether it's Rudy's or Bourbon Street, you've seen him over the years. He's a phenomenal individual. He transitioned last week. His services are being held Monday. But Mr. Griffin, in addition to being a phenomenal saxophone player, composer, I came to him, I saw him one day and I said, man, you got high schoolers playing in these complex jazz bands. He had a jazz band that was all high schoolers. He had a jazz band that was all adults. He had a funk band. He had all of that. So one day I was like, hey, let me know, man. Sometimes I sing. He's like, oh yeah, I got you, man. You got to come on up. And I was like, okay. So we were at this festival one day and I was like, okay, well, just let me know. He said, man, I might call on you. And he said he played a Nat King Cole song and he was playing and he stopped playing and he started singing. I was like, oh, I didn't know the cat sang too. And he was like, with phenomenal silky voice. And so he had called me up a little bit after. So I was like, man, I got to follow this cat. He's doing it all. But he changed the lives of so many young people over the years because he was a professional musician. He was an artist who played on many albums and in many concerts and headlined many concerts himself. But somehow throughout his career, he maintained a commitment to teaching high school. So there are literally hundreds of kids whose lives have been changed because he said, not only am I going to pursue my dreams, but I'm going to teach you how to pursue yours. So what a gift, Richard Griffin. Blessing on the journey, brother. Ashe. And to the children in the world, womb and yet unborn. Ashe. 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 Oh. It is done. It is done. It is done. We also send energy out to the family of Sister Nikki McCrae Pinson. For those of you who follow sports, she was a groundbreaking basketball player at the University of Tennessee. Went on to play 9 seasons in the WNBA, one of the first players to do that. Was an assistant coach and a coach at 3 colleges and transitioned at 51 years old. So left quite a legacy in the world. We want to be reminded of that. Today's meditation comes to us via David R. Hawkins, one of my favorite writers, scholars, spiritualists, and scientists, who reminds us that omniscience is omnipotent or omnipotent and omnipresent. There's no distance between the unknown and the known. The known is manifested from the unknown merely by the asking. The Empire State Building was born in the mind of its architect. Human consciousness is the agent whereby an unseen concept is transformed into its manifest experience, that building, and thus frozen in time. What happened on 32nd Street in New York City in 1933 is there for all to see. What happened in the consciousness of its creator also stands recorded in the database for all to see to this day. Both exist complete, but in different sensory domains. By transferring concept into concrete and steel, the architect simply enabled the rest of us to experience his vision. End quote. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about that later. Right now, we're going to sing a little bit. I think we're going to sing some Peace, Peace. So we're going to call up our Voices of Infinity. Sister Kenitha, she's just been with us in a wonderful way. Sing with us. Girls, y'all want to come up and sing with us? We can sing Peace, Peace. We ask you to rise to your feet as we do this. Today is the day that the God of your acceptance and understanding has made. It's a wonderful moment to rejoice, to be glad in it. So as we sing things, we are actually speaking them into existence. We're just adding a few notes to them. So we are ready to rock, we are ready to roll, and we're ready to speak peace, love, and joy into our lives. Let us sing together at this time.
Peace, peace, wonderful peace, enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, peace, peace, everlasting peace, let my peace shine bright so the world can see love, 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 wonderful love, enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, love, love, everlasting love, let my love shine bright so the world can see. And now joy, 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 wonderful joy, enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, joy, joy, everlasting joy, let my joy shine bright so the world can see. And some more peace, 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 wonderful peace, enter my heart and bring healing to me. Oh, peace, peace, everlasting peace, let my peace shine bright so the world, let my love shine bright so the world, let my joy shine bright so the world, and let my peace shine bright so the world can see.
All right, let's remain standing and generate some gratitude with our good morning song. We're going to ask y'all a question. Are you grateful to be here today? If you're grateful and you know it, clap your hands. If you're grateful and you know it, clap your hands. If you're grateful and you know it, then your faith will surely show it. If you're grateful and you know it, clap your hands. Hold it, hold up. No, y'all know about it. I started getting loose on it. I guess I'm just so happy that we're here today. A good morning to you. Let's go. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you. And we say, a da 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 da.
A good morning to you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Okay, find two people and give them one thing that you're grateful for today. Introduce yourself if you need to. Come on through. If you're online, go ahead and type something that you're grateful for in the box so that we can pull you up on the screen and shout you out during this time.
Hey, good morning to you. A good morning to you. 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 Good morning to you.
All right. All right, so let's take that energy into our giving time. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to bring up Brother Tyrell. He is going to lead us in our giving today. So y'all give a round of applause to Universe for his awesomeness and the Lindsley family. Woo, woo, woo.
TNT. Asheo. Thank you, my beautiful family, beautiful spiritual family. Good morning. One of my favorite parts of service, giving such a powerful vibration to put into the universe. Giving is so special to me because it creates a consistency that we can continue to do from wherever we are in the world. That consistency put us in that same vibration as the sun, right? We get up every morning expecting that sun to be there, and that giving puts us in that same tune, right? So yeah, let's all pour into that vibration together as we stand for our beautiful, beautiful giving affirmation. Let's do this. All right. Y'all ready? Yeah. My people in the back? Yeah. Let's do this, all right? Oh, limitless, abundant creator, source of everything I possess. You have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference. And so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention, knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken. And so it is. Everything is good. Here we go.
I got it. There it is. I got it. Oh, I got it good. Hey, yeah. Everything is good. Everything is good. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I got it. Hey, I got it. Oh, I got it good. Hey, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. I got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Come on, sing it with me now. Everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything. Yeah, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, say yeah. Everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good.
Thank you.
Same time next week. I love it. Love the energy. Love the joy. Oh, man. In this moment, we want to welcome. This is time for get our visitors welcome. It's also time for us to get our early standing ovations. So if you got a standing ovation, something that has manifest for you that we can celebrate with you, get a card in the back there and fill it out and put it in the red jar up here so that when we get through with our announcements, we can shout you out. It is, trust me, a valuable spiritual practice to celebrate the good things that happen for you. And it's a more valuable spiritual practice to celebrate the good things that are happening for other people. Is that right? All right. So as we prepare today to welcome folks, we want to say good morning, Infinity. Good morning. I want to welcome everybody here. If you're new, my name is Jeff Obafemi, Carr, also known as Rev Jeff, in the place today. And this is where we remind you that we get to know who, what, where, when, and why you are. We absolutely know the secret. And the more you affirm it, the more you know it's not a secret. To know exactly who, what, where, when, and why you are. You showed up today, whether you're in person or you're online, not because you're a human being who's here to have a spiritual experience, but it's the other way around. You are a spirit that's navigating the human experience like the rest of us. And so we get to remind each other of that wonderful fact, and it's a beautiful moment every time we do it. So if we have any first-timers, I'm looking through the space, do we have any first-timers? No. But we have some return folks. D likes to try to stand up during every time because I won't preach for him, but I know it's because every time he comes in here, he feels born again. I understand. Kanitha says she's going to get me a piano player. I know we're going to get it in here. First time on this day. Every day is a new day. So if you're in the chat at home, go ahead and type first time in there and people will smother you with love. But at this space, I'm going to ask everybody to rise together and just turn to somebody near you. And as you turn to that person near you, take a look into somebody's eyes. And I'm going to ask everybody to just give us a little bit. Denise, if you could take a little step to me right there, and Terrell right there, just so I had a couple of hands blocking my face. I want to make sure that all the people at home get the welcome too. We want to send this love to everybody. Take a deep breath and look around you and see all of the beautiful faces. If you're at home with your family, look at your beautiful faces. Stop your kids from playing on the tablets. Tell them to come in here. You got something to tell them. Everybody take a look into somebody's eyes and recognize that the eyes are the windows of the soul. It also allows us to truly connect in a way that makes us not want to fight, but makes us want to see and makes us want to love. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Repeat after me. I see you, but you don't hear me though. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You're more than what's on the outside. You are a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me. Where I can let you know, if nobody else will, that you are not alone. I'm with you. We're with you. And you are at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You are so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You're here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know all this because I'm here to do the same thing. So we're going to help each other out. All right? I know the real you, and I see you shining today. I feel you shining today. I know you're shining today. So welcome to infinity. Welcome home. I say, oh, give a high five to somebody. Send some love around the room. grab some coffee as the kids transition to downstairs. And then in the place here, grab a front seat somewhere so we can all interact in a moment. If you are watching at home, you see a beautiful screen in front of you right now. And that screen has a QR code. And if you click the QR code, you can fill out a visitor form. And that visitor form will allow you to connect with Infinity Fellowship. And more importantly, it'll allow us to connect with you. So as we connect with you in the space today, we invite you to fill out that form so we can let you know things that are going on in Infinity. We can send you a special love gift. And you bring that love gift back, we'll give you a love gift in person too. We also want to let you know that in this space today, we're going to scroll some and put some voices up on the screen of people who are saying hello. If you are in the chat box today, this wonderful interactive experience of Infinity is for you as well. We recognize and realize that so many people here at Infinity are operating from different places in the world. There are many people who are operating from different places. And so you are operating from different cities. Those different cities that you're coming in from, we have ways to connect you. So we have new members orientation coming up pretty soon. We have some other opportunities for you to connect online. We have an app called Band. Band is a great app for you to explore, having intimate conversations about spirituality, about family. We've got a Band app for the men of Infinity, for the brothers to connect. So again, if you're interested in joining, go ahead on that form and select you're interested in membership, and we will put you in our end of summer new members orientation. So dance to the music for a second, take a break. I'm going to put that slide back up for you to check out Infinity and look at all things Infinity. Get yourself a quick coffee break, and we're going to be back during that slide. When we're up here, you can scan it, and we'll put some of your shout outs on the screen during that time. See you in a couple of minutes. Hang in there with us. Click, like, subscribe, and share so that we can get this broadcast up around the globe and say hello to all the people who are ready for this lesson that we're teaching today. Asheo.
Yep, we got another one. Yep, same show. Yep, another one. Another one. And another one. Yeah, 7:30. For some of that don't know, we're still doing the play, Family with a Brick. I do want to, of course, thank all those who were able to come out, and especially with the Killer Mike concert and, of course, Beyonce concert. And I was really about to almost miss Thursday because I wanted to go see Killer Mike. That's my dude. You know what I'm saying? I would have gone out to that one, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of Beyonce. I love Beyonce. I respect her, but I'm not really that big of a fan. So I would have gone to go see what's that? I know. But I'm the one who's holding the microphone. You know what I'm saying? But I still love you, Alicia. Seriously, I'll love and respect. But I do everybody know that Family with a Brick is going to be going on for one more week at 7:30. We got a flyer right up there in the bulletin board. So please come see it. Lindsay family, thank y'all for coming out to it. Brother Jeff, thank y'all for coming out too. And of course, Miss Alicia, thank you also for coming out too. And with that being said, we're going to get the announcements going up in cheer. And of course, Brother Terrence, thank you for coming out too. So, with that being said, good morning, Infinity. Good morning. Thank you. In preparation for Ascending Ovations, if you are an Infinite streamer and you have a manifested achievement that you want to report as a Ascending Ovation today, go ahead and type it into the chat box for at this time. Not now, but right now. If you're a person, if you are in person, excuse me, let me say it again. If you are in person, you still have time to fill out your form and place it into the jar to my Rizite. Ascending Ovation is an accomplishment that you have made that we can shout you out for. So let us know what good thing you've birthed into the world, universe, multiverse, whatever that may be. I just put that in there. That's not on the script, you know what I'm saying? Improvise acting. Yes, I'm an actor. So, welcome to July, the 7th month of 2020. Trace. Gonna snap it up real quick for the universe. So, excuse me. And this right here is the year of transcendence. And the definition of transcendence is to exist or to go beyond the range of, to surpass, exist, or experience beyond the normal or physical level. And what a powerful, and I do mean powerful concept for spiritual practice, because this is the year we rise together to the next level in everything we think and we say, and most importantly, do that. We invite you to empower yourself continually by speaking aloud our daily mantra for the year. Even from the ashes, I rise. And let's say that together with authority and proclamation. Even from the ashes, I rise. Don DeMarco. So, next week is Yoga Sunday, and we've had a great 2020 trace moving through yoga flows that raise our vibration, and next Sunday will be no different. Being virtual on fourth Sundays gives you the opportunity to practice yoga with Rev Jeff from the comfort of your home, in the park, or whatever, or wherever, or whenever, or however you find yourself on Sunday morning. So prep your mind to align with your body and spirit next week at Yoga Sunday. Also, I do want to add, congratulations to the 2020 Trace class of the Infinity Center Youth Performing Arts Academy. On Thursday night, over 200 people, and I say it again, 200 people gather at the Lubis Center Theater to witness the extravaganza. The young people ages 6 through 15 demonstrated what they have learned over the course of 6 weeks of daily training right here within the walls of the Infinity Center. The program featured choral singing and acting directed by leading lady Professor Kenitha Carr, performance music led by Professor Craig Robinson, phenomenal dance by our own resident choreographer, Thea Jones Ortega Brown. I gotta ask real quick. Is it Ortega? Just make sure I got it right. Okay, just make sure I got it correct. You know what I'm saying? I got a weird last name, so I go through the same thing too. I gotta correct some folks here and there. And also, visual art instructed by Mike Old School Mucka. And the painting in the corner to my left and your right was part of a live painting to music scene done during the performance. We are ever grateful to the executive director of our Youth Performing Arts Academy, Lady Kenitha Carr. Of course, oh, that shit right. I thought you were downstairs for a minute. I was like, oh, I was about to stand on my feet for a minute. But for guiding this incredible community outreach to a beautiful manifestation. Those are our highlights announcements for this morning. Let's bring back up Rev Jeff and Lady Kenitha because you know the business. Drummer, please. Standing ovations. Thank you so much.
Tune your vibration to a high elevation. It's time for the good news, our standing ovation. Our high energy at IF comes from our practice of snap, and it's why we snap our fingers during this part of the service. We receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys. That's spirituality. We fellowship with like-minded spirits every week. That's nurturing. We take what we learn and apply it in our lives, and that's action. And if we do these, then every week we see examples of progress in our lives, and that's, y'all, the proof. So let us pause to enjoy a collective moment of a manifestation and expansion. So here's what will happen. When your name is called, please stand as I read aloud your manifestation. When I finish each person's ovation, we will snap our fingers to celebrate and affirm them, and then provide a collective standing ovation at the end.
Yes, indeed. Okay,
Yes.
and if you're online, put that standing ovation in so we can get you on there as well. We have a standing ovation from
Taylor. So Taylor's downstairs. So Taylor says, we have finished our show at the Luby Center, and we got to play on a tall water slide. That was for Fun Day. That was their reward.
That
So
was a
they had a
reward.
good time on Friday.
That is a reward.
Woo.
I am going to get a standing ovation live here that I'm going to give for Lady Kenitha. We have given her props all over but I'm around her a lot. So let me tell you,
Okay.
all the things that she did this summer, in addition to dealing with our kids and in addition to dealing with this entire facility being full of kids from 7:30 in the morning. This program was so desired that years ago when we started the program at 8, we said, well, we'll be there about 7:45. You're going to drop people off. People would come at 7:59, 8:04, something like that. When I tell you 7:25, the parking lot was full before we even could open and unlock the building. So she managed and navigated all of that with skill and with grace and came out on the other side. So I want to say on behalf, Sister Kenitha, of all of the kids, all of the families, the staff at the Luby Center, the staff here at the Performing Arts Academy, standing ovation to you because you ran this thing with excellence and kids' lives have been changed forever. Yes.
It's
Yeah,
time
ever,
for a
ever.
nap. Yes.
Time for a nap. Y'all don't call us tomorrow. We ain't gonna be around.
Going into hibernation.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, we got a standing ovation. We put it up on the screen, Tony. Tony's, again, y'all know Tony's got his play. I got a chance to see it. He did an exceptional job playing somebody that was totally out of character for who Tony is. So I don't know where he got the inspiration from that. They say in theater there's always a part of us finding truth, but he did a great job. Tony wanted to remind us that theater critic Jeff Ellis left a positive review on the Broadway world for his performance in The Family with a Brick Pray. Congratulations. It's always good to get good reviews.
Yes.
And it's always good to get bad reviews. Because guess what? The review is the reviewer, and you just gotta learn to take it one way or another. So it's great to celebrate. And then when they give you a bad review, you say they don't know what they're talking
They're a
about.
hater.
More on
They're
that
just a
later.
hater, okay?
You on the message already. I love it. Come on and go with us. All right. Do we have any other ones from online, Tony? Yeah, Tiffany. Put Tiffany's up. It's a great one. Tiffany Smith has a great one. Grateful for Infinity Fellowship Vision Board class. Wow. New Year's Eve. I put 0 student loans on my board last year and again this year. All of my student loans were forgiven under the public service forgiveness program. It's not our job to figure out the how. It's never our job to figure out the how. Our job is to state the intention.
God, that's awesome.
Oh my goodness. All right, we got it then. I'm shouting
man.
Sister Michelle out. She's grateful for clear thoughts and a healthy mind, and we're sending that continuous journey up for growth and life. All right, Lady Kanitha, what do we do?
All right, so at this time, if you shared, have several seats while the rest of us, wherever we are, we're going to stand to our feet and give a collective standing ovation, okay? Here we go.
So it is spoken, so it is received, and so it is. Good energy in the space today as I'm making a little bit of room to talk and to share today. Where's that high stool? I might get that high stool in a minute. But as we prepare the space, something in spirit is saying we need to make sure we cleanse ourselves first. So as we sing today, Come and Go to That Land, we're going to clean this space out. We'll put some Palo Santo in here. Yesterday, in a moment of full transparency, I recognize that for the last 6 weeks, there have been tons of people coming and going. And when people come and go in a public space, people leave a residual energy around. And there are times when people come in, they've had some hard times. They're dealing with trauma. They don't mean to bring that into the space. None of us do. But that's why it's important for us from time to time to cleanse the space. So last night, oh my gosh. If you felt really good when you walked through the door, it's because we fully cleansed the facility and the grounds. We smudged with sage. We smudged with copal. And then we cleaned it up at the end with frankincense, which is used from ancient times to cleanse, and a little bit of Palo Santo, all the way from inside the facility, every nook and cranny, to the grounds, to the entry to the driveway. So if you made it here today and was like, I just feel good in making it today, it's because the space is clear and open. So I invite you in this space to just release into the air any lingering energy that you may have that you feel would fall into the category of negative, whatever it may be. It may be attitude, it may be perception, whatever it is. But as we burn this Palo Santo, we invite you to come and go to that land. And that land is the land of higher consciousness, that land of love, that land of peace, that land of understanding, that land of wisdom, that land of celebration. And that's why when burning incense or burning a smudge stick, the visual smoke helps you remember that your thoughts and prayers are being carried up to the skies and released into the atmosphere so that you no longer have to deal with them anymore. So I invite y'all to sing along with me. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm now. Oh, there is power in that land. There is power in that land. There is power in that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Y'all sound so good. There is power in that land. Oh, there is power in that land. There is power in that land. Where I'm at. Oh, all of my people are in that land. All of my people are in that land. All of my people are in that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. All of my people are in that land. Oh, all of my people are in that land. All of my people are in that land. Where I'm bound. Oh, nothing but peace in that land. There's nothing but peace in that land. There's nothing but peace in that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I say there's nothing but peace in that land. There's nothing but peace in that land. There's nothing but peace in that land. Where I'm bound. Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Said, don't you wanna go to that land where I'm bound? Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Don't y'all wanna go to that land where I'm bound? Hey, yeah, give the universe a round of applause. Woo! Woo, we have a country church up in here today. Woo, y'all ain't playing up in here. Woo, that Thomas Hayes in me done come out. Lord have mercy. My granddaddy was a deacon, Thomas Hayes, and he used to sing a song like that, and he used to sing those old Dr. Watts songs, and I didn't understand what the words, I didn't know what they were saying. And if y'all ever been in, Terrence, you ever been in them old churches and you don't know what the people saying, and they just moaning, and they don't even need an organ or piano, but they're just getting it out. They're just letting it out. And every year when we used to do Black Nativity, we would always start with one of those long metered hymns in the second act because people can feel it. And even when you got young people around who say, I don't know what that is, they're having the same experience. You know, when they hear somebody say, I charge to keep, I have a God to glorify, you know, something like that, you're like, whoa, I love the Lord, he heard my cry. We keep going, I'm gonna do it. Got some young folk in here. We're gonna have some series where we talk about that connection. It's gonna be beautiful. In the space today, we're on virtue number 3. And when we talk about virtue number 3, we are working through the ancient mystery systems. And Tony, if you take us back to our slides right now, our slide that I want to talk about today, a little bit about why we are moving through the mystery system. Usually I do this in a 90 by 90 degrees class where we talk about the mystery system. But Spirit was like, no, we need to make this available to everybody. We need to make sure that this knowledge, this wisdom is going out to all of infinity so that we can understand the trajectory that we're going on, so we can make sure that we have some principles to practice that are going to keep us in alignment, especially for the rest of the year. We're in the second half, right? This is the second half. As Denzel's character said in Remember the Titans, second half, all time. Sunshine, you play it both ways, So this is second half, right? So we're going to make sure that we are going, I don't want you to cross the line. We're going to get that. That's what we're to the second half here. So as we are into the second half of the space, Tony, can you switch back over to our regular slides? Tony, switch back over to my multimedia, and then we'll go to the remarkable in a minute. But we've been talking about these 10 virtues of ancient wisdom, starting with virtue 1, which is control of what? Thought. I love it. Virtue 2 is control of what? Action. So we got thought, we got action. If you missed it at home, catch it on the replay, because you want to get all of these affirmations and you want to get all of these tools, and you want to make sure that they're all lined up with exactly where you're supposed to be. When we talk about these ancient mysteries, the reason why we have to find a code that connects us all is because there are threads that go throughout humanity that are common threads of spirituality. If you've not picked up the book, Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, I remind you to go to that. Right now, we're going to go to a slide that has an excerpt from that book. I literally photocopied and highlighted from my book so that y'all can get the visual. Y'all need to know it's how it is. He's talking about the mysteries here. All who desired to become priests and teachers had to obtain their training from the mystery system. Original education of Kemet, either locally at a branch lodge or by traveling to Egypt. We know that Moses became an Egyptian priest, a hierogrammet, and that Christ, after attending the lodge at Mount Carmel, went to Egypt for final initiation, which took place in the Great Pyramid of Cheops, or Khufu, we would say in the original language. Other religious leaders obtained their preparation from lodges most convenient to them. In other words, there's a system of education, lodges which became the foundation for not only universities and colleges, but also for systems of Western Masonic orders as well. This explains, this is a key highlight, why all religions, seemingly different, have a common nucleus of similarity: belief in a God, belief in immortality, and a code of ethics. That's something that I want you all to understand in this space right now. So from ancient mystery and ancient wisdom teachings, we have, next slide, Tony, we have the Jed column. This is also called just the Jed, D-J-E-D. Somebody say Jed. Jed. I like to think about Jed Clampett. Y'all know Jed Clampett? Beverly Hillbillies. Y'all might not know about that. But I think about Jed when I heard about right here at Jed Clampett. I don't care what it takes to remember. It's more important that you remember. So when you think about the Jed column, the Jed column is an important concept in Kemet. We talk about what it truly means. If you see the top of the Jed column, you'll see those 4 carved out pillars. Those 4 carved out pillars are actually part of the vertebra of a spine. So the Jed column is actually a backbone. So when you have a temple that has the Jed column in it, what you see is spiritually the need to have backbone. And this Jed column comes from, next slide, Tony, this concept of Asar. Everybody say Asar? Asar. Okay. Asar is a very powerful figure in the stories of ancient Kemet. One of the first resurrected figures in history. Like we talked about on the first slide, most religions have something in common. The difference is, well, what people don't realize is people are operating in the echo chamber when you're in religious spaces. The echo chamber is you get a small group of people together or a large group of people together and you say, here are the teachings, we're right and everybody else is wrong. What you don't realize is if you pick up the story of resurrection, if you pick up the story of rebirth and you take it from the Christian tradition, you move that over to the ancient Roman tradition, whether it's Mithras, you move it over to the concept of Shango being transformed on a tree in the Yoruba tradition, you take it back to one of the original stories, which is this story of Asar. This story of resurrection is universal for everyone. So humanity is taught to fight each other over the details of the story, when the reality is the story itself is what teaches us the lessons. So that's where you call it. You can call it history. You can call it mythology. When people say, well, they're different myths. You know what? I don't care about different myths. We just want to know, are the principles solid? Do we have the ability to get up in the morning? Do we have the ability to hit the reset and the restart button? This figure, Asar, was one of the first. When you talk about a legend, if you will, of someone who taught humanity the arts and the sciences, symbolically representing North Africa at the time, but who encountered jealousy that made it so that his stepbrother cut his body into 14 pieces and spread it to the four corners of the earth. His wife, Aset, who we also know as Isis, when we hear that term. Isis gathered the pieces together, reassembled, including and beginning with the backbone. Once that backbone was there, built around the rest, and then was able to resurrect him through his son Heru. So this story of resurrection is important. And I want to go to another slide just so you can see a temple relief. So when we go to Kemet and we go to, I always encourage people to say, if you don't believe it, it's great. Just get there and put your hands on the wall. Because there's no feeling like taking the 3 steps down into the lower chamber of the temple of Seti I at Abydos and getting to that space and seeing these reliefs on the wall, carved in stone, that are thousands of years old, that predate most modern Western religion. And you see this relief on the wall, and of course it's old, so it's cracked, but you make out the body of that figure, Asar. Aset appears as a bird in this space to receive the life seed from this space to have one of the first depictions of what we call Immaculate Conception. Immaculate Conception and what we call the Osirian drama. The ability to be reborn, the ability to come back, the ability to have a next generation, even through jealousy. We see that the symbol for the phallus, which, you know, we all grown-ups in here, so the phallus means phallus, or the male organ. That was the one piece that was missing from the body. So she had to appeal and to pray for this to be rebuilt so they could have the next generation, because that's where the spirit of Aset, or Isis, receives that life-giving energy. That where she found, or in other words, where she found or did not find that phallus, she built a monument to it. And that monument is what's called an obelisk. It's also called a tekken. It's several ancient names. But if you want to see the biggest obelisk in America, just go to Washington, D.C., and it's the Washington Monument. That's what that is. It is a symbol of life. It's a resurrection. And in Washington, D.C., in the United States of America, Terrence just got it. I saw it hit him. Terrence just got it. In the United States of America, the biggest structure is a white phallus. How about that? Right? So you take an ancient symbol and turn it into a symbol of supremacy, which is why there are difficulties in it, because spiritual symbols always bring about a higher vibration, but when they're used in a lower space, they attract a lower vibration. So America's a pursuit of this mine is bigger than yours mentality is eventually going to lead to a valley of destruction. That's another lecture altogether. So from this space, though, we wanted to give you this because we go back to the next slide, forward to the next slide, Tony. In the next slide, we see this Jed, the backbone of Asar. Next generation, focus in leadership. Asar lived his purpose, and when his purpose was blocked, he was able to resurrect by balancing out with that divine feminine energy for the next generation. So the victory was conducted and was achieved over the long term. So some of us are trying to do things on the short term without recognizing that this thing is a long game. And when we're in our purpose, we develop the backbone needed to be successful. The backbone gives us stability, consistency, and most importantly, purpose. Next slide, Tony. I wanted to harken back to something else that we saw here. This is the statue of Ptah. Does anybody remember where we saw it before? Lesson 1, virtue 1, control of thought. Ptah is that vibrational frequency that speaks the world into existence, right? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word what? Was God, right? And then the Word became flesh. All of these things are connected. That's Bible. So we see these stories of speaking into existence are there. This is a figure that was called patah. And if you look closely, next slide, Tony, what do you see in his hand? You see the jet. So you see the backbone. You see the purpose. Even from a figure that should predate Asar, this concept of backbone is there. On top of the backbone, there's something else. Next slide, Tony. What do you see there? It's the Ankh. So life, everlasting, this principle of life is built upon you having a backbone. Go ahead and switch me over to remarkable, Tone. When you're talking about your purpose, when you're talking about who you are, this is If Teaches, so we get an opportunity to talk out and to share, because there are times where I'm going to ask you, when we're talking about pursuing our purpose, this may seem like a one-on-one question, but anybody who's bold enough to answer it, why is it important for you to have a backbone when you're pursuing your purpose? So you don't get off course? What else? You will be under attack. No one can deter you. It's what you're supposed to do. It's a foundational principle of the backbone. So when we're talking about the Jed column, we're talking about this. We talked about purpose and being steadfast. Steadfast means ain't nobody gonna turn me around. We talk about this Jed column. This Jed column is seen in temples as well, as I said earlier, because you want to make sure that your structure is strong. How interesting is it? It's always fascinating to me when I think about the Jed column and I think about the backbone, that when we think about our spine and our backbone gives us good posture. What happens though if our backbone does not bend? We have problems, right? So it's not as if the spinal column is not supposed to move, because you are supposed to be able to bend. You're all supposed to be able to move from side to side. The thousands and thousands of nerves that are connected to your spinal column, from your lower spine to the top of the crown of your head, all of them interact in a way that is fluid, but they all are connected. These joints here are connector joints. They're vertebrae. And because of that, you have to have both flexibility and stability. Come on now. See, look, I knew that came from Tyrell. Tyrell's got a degree in kinesiology, so he understands about this, how this stuff works and how it connects. It's flexibility, but it's also first and foremost stability. So I'm going to give you all 3 points. We're going to talk through them, and then we're going to come back to this. First point I want to give y'all is leadership of others, because I expect everybody in here is going to be a leader, begins with leadership or discipline of self. I'm going to Mom's mic over here. Mom's mic, good, because I've got to shorten this wire. And one thing that kills me is when you're trying to listen to something, you keep hearing pops, especially for my people online. So we're going to go from this to where we need to go. Good. This is important. The reason why I say I'm talking about leadership first, when you're talking about purpose, some people say, well, no, my purpose is to serve. My purpose is good to see you. My purpose is to serve. My purpose is to be a part of community. That's all great and that's all beautiful. But in this space called Infinity Fellowship, I'm not training people how to be good followers only. Because that's easy. I'm just telling you, it's easy. All I gotta do is get you some flashing lights, some LED screens, some flags, and some dances. Call about 20 musicians in here. We'll be at 10,000 people by the end of the year. It's easy. I'm telling you. I have a background in theater. I know what people like. When y'all come see Black Nativity, y'all gonna be like, oh my gosh, what a spectacle. And that's gonna be great because it's theater. Religion grew out of theatrical practices. Theatrical practices in Kemet of the Osirian drama. That's why they call it Osirian drama, because it was acted out in the temple of Karnak at Luxor. People would come from all over the country to celebrate. They transitioned that to the celebration of Dionysus in Greece. And when one person stepped forward to take on the persona of the Dionysus, He stepped forward and started pretending to be Dionysus, and in Greek culture, that's where theater began. We know it came there. His name was Thespis, and he was an actor. Hence, they call actors what? Thespians, right? That's Greek. They should call them comedians, because this was happening before all of this. I'm a comedian thespian. But when we have this energy, we have this space where we're telling this story, it's easy to get people to follow. Why? Because most people in the world want to follow. It's hard to lead. But if you're going to live your purpose and who you're supposed to be, you're going to have to be a leader. And if you can't lead anybody, you got to lead yourself. Leadership of others begins with leadership of self. It takes backbone, underlining, to discover, number one, 2, embrace, and 3, continually nurture your divine purpose via demonstration. This one right here, this whole bullet point, as it was coming down from Spirit, this whole bullet point is a message in itself. Because we live in a society where everybody wants to be a leader of everybody else, but nobody wants to demonstrate. Nobody wants to demonstrate. So what you have to do is, when you are in this space, we think that here I am, I'm doing yoga stick figures, and the way that I heal is by healing everybody else. I get my healings through healing others. I get my healings through I hear everybody. Get my healing. I'm going to give everybody everything they need, and it never works. Because where do you receive your food from? The masses of followers, they're going to love you until they don't. I'm going to say this. I am grateful. Beyonce put on a heck of a concert last night, y'all. I'm grateful for 2 things. Well, actually, I'm grateful for 3 things. I'm grateful for, one, that those who attended the concert actually showed up today. What a blessing. Give a round of applause. Hey! Number 2, I'm grateful for technology, because while I did not attend the concert, I put one of them $1 things in there and put Beyonce, and everybody on the internet was streaming and showing songs, so I felt like I was there. And I didn't have to fight people for tickets, so it was good. But number 3, what I'm grateful for, then this is complex, because I'm grateful for Beyonce is Beyonce. There are people who follow Beyonce, and follow means different things. Follow can be support, can be a fan, but you cannot follow Beyonce if Beyonce trying to be like you. She wouldn't be Beyonce. She's Beyonce because she tapped into what her gift was, and because of that, it radiates to people. And people say, I feel you. When we talked about that earlier, people say, I feel you when you're in the audience with her. That's because she is clearly aligned with her divine purpose. You can judge it or not. You can say, I'm not a fan. You can say, I'm not with her. Or you can say, I hate her. It doesn't matter. Nissan Stadium was still sold out last night. Taylor Swift don't care if she was a creation by a record company who just brought in a bunch of songwriters and stylists and she don't care about all of that. Those Swifties are gonna pack that dadgum airport, and they packed Nissan 3 nights in a row. People in alignment with divine purpose. And when we talk about purpose and leadership and that energy and that love energy that's in there, when I think about, and I love the example of Beyonce, because last night, did it rain on y'all? It was supposed to rain. They said, prepare for rain. And it did not rain. Now, where you sit in your perspective on that determines your interpretation of that rain. There are people who's got there on their knees. They got through. They say, oh, praise God. Hallelujah. It did not rain on me, because I don't like to be in a concert getting wet. So they gave honor to God, who's the head of my life, for all of the collective prayers of no rain and a good sky. Somebody else said, scientifically speaking, I knew it wasn't going to rain because the cold front didn't come in at the right time, and so the forecasters probably got it wrong. They attribute it to science. All good. I'm glad I'm smart. Then there are some people who got to the concert and said, you know what? I'm just glad to have a good time, rain or shine. I'm here for it. Then there are other people who said it didn't rain because Beyonce is a goddess. And the universe decided that it was not going to ruin her. And so those who have started the church of Beyonce, listen, this is real. There are people who worship her as a goddess, right? And you can't control that. Because again, they are believing that she's a goddess and she stopped the rain. And that's fine, you know, because belief is it shows you how belief is powerful. If you believe in something, you focus on something, people are going to say the most dangerous words when you're at the intersection of belief and reality. And those three words are, I don't care. So be like, well, you know, Beyonce is really, she's just a human being tapped in her. I don't care. She's a goddess and she stopped the rain. Well, you know, Donald Trump took a lot of money. I don't care. He's good for America. I don't care. Some guy saw a video the other day. There was a guy said he could stand on the steps of the White House and put a bullet in somebody, and I still believe in him. So a belief, the power. So in other words, this focus energy is very, very powerful. So some people get drawn into this space of belief. And the belief is that somehow, if you get to a space where you're going to fix other folks first, instead of yourself, you're going to go down a dangerous road. If I give you an opportunity, everybody here says they want to learn how to play basketball, and you want to learn how to be skilled. Now, I got a little outside three-pointer every now and then, you know. I don't have it superstar skills. But if I give you a choice, if I stand here, and everybody here is just dying to learn how to master basketball, Rev Jeff is standing here, and I got LeBron James standing over there. Who y'all want to learn basketball from? My feelings ain't gonna be hurt. My feelings ain't gonna be hurt because I'm not the leading scorer in the history of basketball. I haven't continually proven people who doubt me wrong. I haven't got a handful of championship rings. I haven't gone to different spaces and mastered business and industry in the way that he has. So in other words, you want to learn from LeBron because he has first and foremost demonstrated his ability to live and walk in his purpose. That's how you make things effective, by developing and honoring self. You won't get it by fixing others. I don't care how much you try. We try to do that. A lot of times when we're talking about working with young people, a lot of people want to work with young people because they don't want to do the work themselves. And so they say, well, if I can craft and mold human beings who are great, then that's going to somehow heal me. But it still doesn't make you sleep better at night. It still doesn't make you release your trauma. It still doesn't make you feel good about yourself. Because when the people are gone, what is left? It's just you in the mirror. And if you can feel good and in alignment with your purpose when it's just you in the mirror, you have mastered that which will begin to then heal others through demonstration. Let me give you a discipline tool because we're going to make sure that we get this, because this is also about discipline. When we talk about leadership of self, leadership is simply discipline. More on that in a minute. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in and exhale. In this moment of silence, in this moment of meditation, I'm going to give you a tool, and I want you to write what I'm going to say on the inside of your eyelids. Give yourself permission to dream. Give yourself permission to dream. All right, blink your eyes open. Anybody got a dream property or a dream house or a dream place that they like to stay in? What's a dream place? Who's got a dream place they'll share? Dream piece of property, dream place. What you got, Taryn? You,
The one with that perfect rooftop type space, glass sunroom,
Oof.
yoga option,
Woo!
little fire pit in the corner, seating space, little green turf so people can play outdoor games and see the skyline.
Dream property. Who else got one? Dream space. You want to be. I know. I won't get too deep in the weeds on that because I got Q&A coming up in a minute. But what I will say is, when's the last time you checked in on your dream, on the space you wanted to be in the state that you wanted to be in? And I mean state physically, state of mind. Because oftentimes we feel and fulfill those dreams, and then something happens and we say, oh man, it must be nice to have that one day, but it just ain't for me. But oh, if I could, we go back into the space. But, and then we do the but. And then the universe is tuning into what's after the but. And then you wonder why you can't get those things, because you're stopping yourself by pivoting at the but. What is it that I want to achieve? Do I want to achieve a bigger world? Am I ready to dream big? Am I ready to dream expansively? There are people and there are places. There's Beyonce, there's LeBron. There are people who have been counted out. And they said, I am refusing, allowing myself to think of anything but my purpose and my dream. So train yourself every day to give yourself permission to continue dreaming. Discipline practice number 2. I'm going to write this down. This is a key. Oh, do what you love, and it will love you back. Do what you love, and it will love you back. This is contrary to the popular song that says, if you can't be with the one you love the one you with. It's a catchy song. But it's a catchy song, but it doesn't always work out like that. In some societies that have arranged marriages, it tends to work out for many people, because parents who know what it takes for long-term relationships tend to think a little bit better than people who haven't closed their frontal lobes yet. So they learn to see those things as they grow old in a mature and wise love. And that's a beautiful thing. It can happen in those spaces. But when we're talking about your divine purpose, do what you love and it'll love you back. If you love art, do art. If you love activism, do activism. If you love painting, paint. If you love building, build. If you love driving, drive. Whatever it is that you love, if you love singing, sing. Trust that the universe is going to reward you by tuning you into that vibrational frequency, and you're going to get an abundance of those things. Do what you love, and it is going to love you back. Number 2, second point I'm going to. Oh, Lord. Gambian proverb. If the only tool you possess is a hammer, then every situation you encounter will be a nail. That's coffee, but I'm going to sip that tea like Kermit. That's all on itself. If the only, keyword only, tool you possess, a tool is something that you use to get what you want in life. If the only tool you possess, which is ownership, is a hammer, something that is bludgeon, then every situation, not most, nope, every situation you encounter will be a nail. In other words, in our famous phrase that we use, that's it, that I'm going to keep saying for the rest of this year till everybody gets it. You get what you focus on. If you say it's going to be hell today, guess what? It's going to be hell today. If you say these fools bet not test me, guess what? Them fools is getting ready to test you. If you say I'm going to go down here and protest, they ain't going to listen, guess what? You're going to go down and protest and they're not going to listen. I'm going to go into this meeting with a positive vibe. They probably ain't going to hire me because it's too old and I'm dark skinned and the white folk is on that. Oh, dude, get up off that, man. Because you get what you focus on. I have exceptional experiences with people you would not believe. I sat on the corner and had deep, profound conversations with white men with long hair and a Confederate flag and a gun on their red pickup truck rack, and laughed and talked and had a doggone good time and said, "See you later, brother." It's like, man, you're a cool fella. No problemo. Because I attract positive people in my life, and I'm not going to allow somebody else's nature to change my own. So as I walk in the world, I walk in a positive space. So guess what? I attract positive experiences. If you're funky, if you're nasty, if you stanky, we used to talk about the triplets, Kenitha. There's some triplets born out of rage and frustration and hatred and poverty and all of that. It was 3 triplets. She funky, she nasty, and she stanky. And yet, whenever you encounter them, they tend to travel together and gang up on you. But when you got that mentality, when you say, this is going to be a bad day, or, boy, how am I going to make it through? Well, you may not. Because then when you focus that energy and you fixate on that, you begin to radiate and generate it. So when you know there's going to be drama, you begin to attract the drama to you because it becomes what they call a confirmation bias in psychology. You begin to seek evidence around your inner thesis. 50 people can be in a room. Your inner thesis is that that person's staring at me because they don't like me. They may be staring at you because they think you're awesome or because they're intently listening to what you say. But in your mind, you seek out the 2 people that got eye contact out of 50 and say, I knew it. I knew it. Them don't like me. I'm tired of them. This guy don't like me. All of that is in your head. And even when it's in manifestation, you miss the 48 people that meant you well and focused on the 2 that did not. And you gave them your power when you didn't have to. When you walk in a space of positivity and purpose, you can miss me with that. Do y'all know how many? You can just get online anywhere at any time. It's amazing the online space has given people who have to demonstrate no accomplishment or history in doing anything, a voice and a space where they stand up. I'm always terrified when somebody says, I was doing some research, and here's what I found. You weren't doing research. They're doing research at a university where they're asking complex questions. You got on YouTube and looked up a couple of videos, and now you're promoting something that you can't even answer to when somebody asks you a follow-up question. But because of that space that has been created, everybody feels that they have something to say. You can get on there, and you will probably find millions of comments criticizing Beyonce. Do you think she pays attention to one of them? Do you know how much hatred there are for people who are professional athletes and entertainers who are successful? I used an example earlier, Donald Trump. Why is a man who has been indicted on several counts of fraud, who may be on the verge of going to prison, still the most important voice in a party and still could end up in the White House? It's the power of staying on purpose. He don't care about you. When the election was Trump and Hillary, it was 2 things in common. Only thing Trump was talking about was Trump. That's all. And Denzel, something remarkable happened. I don't judge it. I say it's remarkable because it's the power of the law of attraction. That's why the affirmation says, without preference or judgment. The universe doesn't respond, oh, you're the chosen, you're blessed and highly favored, I'm going to look at you over everybody else. No, it's not judgment or preference. It's alignment with purpose. So Trump's talking Trump, that's all he's saying, myself. Eventually in the election, The only thing Hillary was talking about was what? Trump. Every time she opened her mouth. She didn't say, here's what I'm bringing to the table. She's like, you don't want him, Trump, Trump, Trump. And so guess what? The amplification was around Trump, and there it is. Law of attraction. That's how this happens. So you get what you focus on. Staying on your trauma makes it a self-fulfilling prophecy. I know it's tough, man. I know there's a lot of business. Listen, therapy is a great thing. Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it to get through to a space of healing. But you also have to know, there's that but, I used it. Trauma is a self-fulfilling prophecy without action. I'm just going to redo that because my handwriting. I'm thinking I'm writing to myself. Without action, I got to remember, everybody's reading this. Without action, it's okay. We all been through it. Some of us continue to go through it. And it's tough. It really is tough. That's why every single day you have to moment by moment, as Kenitha will remind us. You have to sometimes do it moment to moment. Congratulate yourself for just being here right now. Congratulate yourself for just being conscious right now. Congratulate yourself for having everybody, even if it's one person who, when the things are the lowest in your world, will put their hand around you and say, baby, it's going to be all right. I can't tell you the number of people my own mama saved by not saying a word, but just by reaching out and saying, it's okay, baby. And when you got a 93-year-old woman who's telling you it's going to be okay, there's something in that that allows you to release and let go. This is the value of community, that people can say it's all right when you're not all right. But we're going to help you sit in that to recognize it. Then we're going to help you move through it, because you are more than your trauma. You are more than your experiences. One word quickly, which is actually could be a book. And I'm going to say this. This is the title of the book. A Word on Haters. Your direction this week and forward. Lose the paranoia. I love you. I love everybody in here. Which y'all know when somebody says that, something else is coming, right? So I love everybody in there. I love everybody listening online. I love everybody who's going to watch this on the replay. And I'm going to be honest. You have to be doing something major in the world to really have haters. You have to do something very major in the world to have official haters. If you aren't changing the world in some very important and impactful ways, you don't have haters. You just have the universe reminding people to remind you of your own stagnation. I want to say that again. Let's say it again. If you are not changing the world in amazing ways, you really don't have haters. That's just the universe reminding you through people that you're stagnant. And often that happens because we go out and we promote ourselves in this culture and saying we're doing big things, and then we're not demonstrating that we're doing big things. And then somebody just comes up to you and says, hey, you said you were going to do this big thing. Did you? When is that? And you say, I'm tired of these haters. I've asked people a question. I say, hey, you were going to do this. Did I miss it? No, man, I did. It's all right, man. So I was like, man, these people hating on me. No, because you didn't have the discipline. Discipline simply being promises fulfilled. It's just saying that I'm going to do something and I'm going to do it. That's all discipline is. Discipline ain't a whip per se. It's just doing what you say you're going to do. If a person, as I erase this, if a person also because you just generally have people who also have negative spirits. That's reality. And anytime they see something, they want to see a hole in it. They want to poke a hole and want to be negative. But recognize that if a person is in a low enough space to accuse you of something that you're not, they are not in a mental position to receive an explanation of who you truly are anyway. Let it sink in. If you're with somebody or around somebody, if you're in an energy space where they would accuse you of something that you're not, and you know in your line of purpose, and you know in your space, this is not who you are, I don't care how many times you try to explain it to them, they do not have the mental capacity to see you as anything else other than what they accuse. So stop wasting your time. Y'all know my favorite quote from Bella G. Howell is, never explain yourself. Your enemies won't believe you. Your friends won't ask you to. So stop explaining yourself. Adjust this energy. Adjust this energy here. If we look at that picture of a SAR, I'm going to give you this because this is important. When we see a SAR, we see two symbols that are crossed across his chest. You see it in every symbol of every pharaoh. Look up pharaoh, look everything. You will see this symbol. You will see the shepherd's crook, and you will see the flail. The crook is leadership. The flail is discipline. When you talk about the shepherd's crook, I mean, you see this now. You see this with pontiffs, with the Pope, with Kojic churches. People actually dress up and they have a shepherd's crook, right? The shepherd's crook is because the shepherd is looking out for the sheep. That's part of what developed in a Western sense, the flock mentality. So the Pharaoh, the king, this Asar energy is about being able to lead others. So therefore, when you're the shepherd's crook, you also need what? The flail. Because the flail basically is a whip. So when people get out of line, what do? That's the Western thing, right? And that's where people make the mistake. When you see it simply through the Western lens, you think, well, I'm a shepherd. Sometimes I got to beat the sheep. And it works. It works. You want to get cussed out? Go to a real good old school church. They go, oh, well, some of the people in here are backbiting. Sister Jones showed up at the deacon meeting, come in here, hair all over the place, looking nasty, talking filthy, and everybody's just going crazy while somebody tears down another human being under the auspices of being a good shepherd. Matter of fact, they would call it an under shepherd. Follow me as I follow Christ. Don't just follow Christ. Christ said, follow me. But he didn't say, Jesus never said, follow this dude. He said, follow me. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. But people say, no, follow me as I follow that dude. Follow my own interpretation. But that's not what the meaning of the flail is. The flail actually comes first. The flail means discipline, self first. Because if I cannot discipline myself, I cannot lead and guide others. People ain't going to believe what I say because they only going to be looking at what I do. I can't tell people, and I try to tell people about stuff. Marriage. People, I've been in this room talking conversation. Listen, marriage is a heck of a journey. It's a loving, wonderful journey full of amazing opportunities. Full of amazing and expansive opportunities to stretch and to grow. You see how I reframed marriage can be hell every single day if you, because it can be seen that way, right? The same thing as an obstacle is really an opportunity. You are faced with what Michael Beck would say, a crossroad moment of what am I learning? What am I learning, Trey? Because the opposite of what am I learning is, what the hell was I thinking? And in any relationship, it's going to come up. And when things get hard, that's the first thing your conditioned mind wants to go to. What the hell was I thinking? Then you start condemning yourself. Then you start tearing yourself down. Then your vibrational frequency aligns with tearing down, with breaking down. Then you get to see evidence that are coming to your thesis to support what you said. Everything is terrible, and it gets worse, and it gets worse, and your vortex is taking you lower and lower. Control of thought, control of action. The first two principles come first before steadfast purpose, because you have to control that thought. You have to act in a way that you know is going to manifest fruit. And when you get to that point, then you can say, no, this is a space of opportunity for me. And before, using a biblical reference, I go out to remove a splinter from somebody else's eye, I'm going to get the plank out of my own first. Six whole weeks. Been in here with different kids, and it's a wonderful experience. People ask me for parenting advice. A lot of times I'll tell you, this is where we are. This is what we're doing. Some of it's working. Here's what we've seen to be effective. Here's what's not. And what you see walking down that aisle or running around down there, that's the fruit. And the fruit will tell you if it's working or not. And it'll tell you there's some opportunities I need to make. And there's some opportunities that I need to take, because that's part of what it's about. Parenting's about. I run from people who are always trying to give direction about things, especially things that they don't know anything about. Here's what you ought to do with those kids. Oh, how many kids have you raised? Oh, I don't have any, but when I get kids, okay. How about you tell me how to frame a door on a house, because you're really good at that. Let's talk about that. You leave the kids thing in me. I won't tell you about that. You just come and show. We're going to work together and we're going to make it real good. It's the self-discipline space. So when people ask me about kids, I'm like, listen, I can tell you what I know, but honestly, I'm trying to focus my energy on making sure that these kids are going to have as less trauma as possible. They're going to have a good life. And I'm going to do my best here. That's why grandparents are so effective with kids. Because by the time you finally figure it out, you're old. And everybody want to go to grandmama and granddaddy house. Because you didn't know when you were raising them. I'm telling you, I got grown all the way to little. You just don't know the whole time. That's why the little ones, when y'all look at the little ones, oh, that seems so prescient. That's because, there were 4 ahead of them. And we were like, oh, better not do that this time around with the next one. So that's what it is. Life is a process, that space of self-discipline. Let me move to the last point so we can get this in and then open the floor up. Reality. This goes back to today's meditation, so scroll it back when you get a chance, because David Hawkins talks about this energy in the book Power versus Force, the hidden determinants of human behavior. Reality is simply a movement of action from one plane of perception to another. Think about that Empire State Building. Purpose plus action equals manifestation and enables the world to experience your vision. You got to do something with it. Purpose plus the action equals the manifestation. It will frustrate you if you sit around and talk about what you're going to do one day. The more days you push that off, the more frustrated you're going to become, and you will eat yourself up from the inside. I don't ever like to put people on the spot completely. Brother Tyrell, I put Tyrell and the lenses on the spot all the time. But if I put you on the spot, it's because there's been some demonstration there. I can point to a Tony and say, Tony does an exceptional job in roles that are challenging because he'll go all in, because I just saw him do it. I can point to an Andrew and say, there's no better writer of poetry who understands how Langston Hughes understood poetry. Langston Hughes said, poetry is the entire human soul, squeezed like a lemon or a lime, drop by drop into atomic words. Very few people understand that. But I got an award-winning poet sitting back there. I got singers back here. I got managers back here. I got artists in here. I got business folks in here who are demonstrating that every single day. So as we are demonstrating this space here in the space and abroad, we've got to be in a space where we understand that it's coming about from action. These things are existing. Those dreams, that dreamscape that you had, it's in your mind right now, but it is as equally in the world as it is in your mind. It's only how you change your perception. That is the power that you have to bring what is in your mind into manifest reality so that then the rest of us can see what was in your head in the first place. You got a song in your heart, you better sing it. Do what you love and it'll love you back. We talked about this place as a conceptual framework. And we talk about infinity. We came into this building, and I'm not going to stay on it long. I always use this because this is the back side of the building. But infinity was a long, little narrow house. And y'all know, if y'all been here before, it was what it is now. It's completely different on the inside. It's odd looking because technically what we see in the front is the back of the house. If you want to see the front of the house, go out the back door and then turn and look at the building. So when the Frasers built this home, they built it thinking that Trinity Lane was going to be the entry point, and there was going to be a long driveway, and that Nocturne was going to be an access road. But when Dr. Fraser and many of the people who worked at Riverside Hospital, which is right over here on the riverfront, a couple of blocks away, they all said, oh, that's a nice house. I want to build up there too. So they started building the house next door, across the street, and all of a sudden this became a neighborhood. Trinity Lane got closed off there with the purchase of the salvage yard, and then everything was different. This was the one backwards house in the neighborhood, which I absolutely love. That's how we knew this was it. It was like, this is absolutely us. And the thing is, when you drive in, anybody who's experienced it the first time, you've been there, it's deceptively large. You see that little long space, you're like, man, oh, okay. You just drive by it. You know, okay, there it is, little space. Then you come in. I promise you, every single time I gave a tour from construction to completion, even through the academy right now, people come in, oh, this is nice. And they walk over there and they say, oh, this is nice. Got a kitchen, bathroom. They come in here, oh, and then we say, we'll go downstairs. As soon as they hit the stairs and go into the other one, they say, man, this is a big house, man. What is all of this? And then they go to the other side and they're like, wow. And it's like, how big is the lot? It's like 5 acres. Like, what? But in all of that, understand that none of what you see today existed 5 years ago. It was not here. We had to sit right here and look at a wall and say, one day I'm going to be here. I'm going to be talking. There are chairs. This is an open roof. And I would sit here at night. And sometimes messages would come when we were here in the middle of the night. Kanitha will tell you there were times where the doors were off and there was a construction equipment going on. And I had to sleep in a room in here to make sure that nobody broke in and took all the construction stuff. And so sometimes I get up in the middle of the night and a spirit would be coming through and I'd be standing right here in this space and I'd be talking. And I'd be seeing y'all and other people. And literally, there's just walls everywhere. But I saw that. And now, because of community and people, we actually see that manifested thing. So I'm not speaking from a space of imagination. We're speaking from a space of communal demonstration. This is how it works. That's why every time you touch a doorknob in this building, you recognize that you have the power to create and to manifest real things. Don't let anybody convince you of anything other than that. Don't allow your mind to hold you back in a space where you will not be able to achieve and to grow. From that space, we began to think as a community, and this is going to end up as a practical tool, a phrase for infinity. And one thing that you're going to know, that wherever we go, whenever I'm in a room, whenever anybody, Sister Kanitha's in a room, whether it's with the kids in the Performing Arts Academy, whether it's downstairs, whether it's a community meetings, we have a phrase that's an inner phrase. Where there is infinity, there is change. Whenever we come into space, there's change. It's going to be positive. It might be uncomfortable. You might not like it, little kiddies, when Miss Thea is telling you to move from left to right on a stage. It might make you groan, but I've witnessed it by coming in here at 8:15, 9:15 in the morning and see Thea on this corner running and grabbing kids and moving them in position. She don't care what you think. She don't care what you complain. Her job is to push you to be excellent. Because where she is, there is change and transformation. Sister Kenitha, the same thing. Had to corral kids and tell them and teach them and push them. Speak up, stand up straight, project your voice, lay on the floor, put your hand on your stomach. See if you can push this air out of your body. Kids complaining, kids come growing. Why can't I get my cell phone? Because you're not here for that. You're here to learn, you're here to grow it, to expand yourself, and she is in alignment with that. Where she is, there is change. Where are you? Exercise. This day of purpose is full of practical tools. At home, if you're able, on your phone and your journals. Quick exercise. Write this down and fill it in. You go in that blank. Where there's Terrence, there's what? Where there's Denzel, there's what? Where there's Trey, there's what? Now, give yourself some grace, even at home. I'm telling everybody, please give yourself some grace on this exercise, because the first step you're going to do on this exercise is be honest, Deanna. I'm going to pick an arbitrary name, Sister Kenitha, because if you're being honest, some people, I apologize for anybody online who may have this name. Where there is Ray, there is foolishness. Not Trey, I said Ray. Not Trey. I didn't say Trey. Don't get me mixed up. I consciously made sure. Where there is Ray, there is drama. Where there is Ray, there is conflict. And the reason why there's grunts in moments like this is because we all know people. You can fit in that blank. Where there's cousin so-and-so, there is an appeal for money that I do not have. You know when they come in the room. Hey, man, I've been thinking about you, man. I was just thinking, okay, how much you want? And if I got it, I can give it. If I can't, I can't. But I automatically know, because that's the repeated pattern. So in your space, ask yourself this question. Where there is you, what is there? Work it through a couple of exercises. Because the first thing, Sister Star, that I'm going to give to people, and everybody here and everybody at home, is this. Not only what you believe about yourself, but for a real quick litmus test, what would other people fill in the blank about you? Andrew shaking his head, I don't know. I can fill it in, Andrew. Where there's Andrew, there's honesty. Where there's Denzel, there's directness, right? Where there's Denise, there's joy. I would go through the whole room here and point out what those things are there. And I'm always going to lean into the good and the real, because everything else I don't have time to bother with. There's enough people out there, non-haters, who are tearing you down. So write that down and work on that today. Practical exercise number 2. Because again, we're making sure that you got this. Get a sheet of paper and create 3 columns. But give you a template. You can refer back to this either. I know, listen, we're doing real work today, y'all. I thank y'all for this, because we're doing, at the top, I am. First column, excellent. Again, I got a pen, eraser. Excellent at. Could be better. Zero gifts. Zero gifts. Yeah, I just hope y'all gonna be real with y'all. When people come into space like this in Infinity, you don't want to. I don't want y'all to just feel good. I'm gonna do that from time to time. We're gonna give you that motivation, that uplift, but I also need y'all to leave with some tools that are gonna help y'all be successful. These 3 things. Now, I do not want you to lie to yourself or others. Please don't lie. Ain't nobody gonna see your journal. I'm not gonna ask for it. This is homework, but I'm not gonna check it, Tyrell. I promise you. I'm not gonna check it, D. I just need for y'all to do this work. I am excellent at. Could be better. Zero gifts. All of these things, though, must come with proof. This is when it gets hard, 'cause it has to be. I am start with the simple things. I am excellent at. I'm just giving from my life here. I'm being transparent with the whole world. I'm excellent at writing plays. And don't, please, in this space, for myself, for me, and for you, as you go through this exercise, do not confuse my confidence with conceit or my acknowledgement with arrogance. It's just that I'm old enough to know what I'm good at. I'm excellent at writing plays. What's my proof? I'm the only living playwright to have 2 plays at the same time at the National Black Theater Festival, both that I wrote. I have a children's play that has appeared at the Smithsonian. I have a children's play that has appeared at Wolf Trap Theater for the Arts. And when I get home, I'm signing a contract for that children's play to be in the first anthology chosen of a dozen plays out of over hundreds of plays for the new NYU New Works for Young People series. So that has been that's the proof. I know I can do that. You tell me to do that, I do it. I was in a deadline working at the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, and the lady did not send me, we weren't emailing as much back then. She did not send me the deadline for a play that was going to be done at TPAC. That was a collaboration between 3 organizations in a 2,700 seat theater. And she said, I just got off the stage. I came to my apartment in Montgomery, Alabama. I got a phone call and they said, you ready for the read through? I said, which read through? She said, well, your scenes are supposed to be, we're going to read through them on Monday, and I hadn't gotten them yet. I said, Monday, and it was Friday. I was like, oh, I'll be ready. I got a gallon jug of water, went down and got a dozen hot donuts from Krispy Kreme. Because back then I was in my late 20s, so I could eat that, go to sleep, still have a 6-pack day. I wasn't playing. I sat at that computer, I lit a candle, I sat on that terrace that I had, and by the time the sun went down the next day, I had a play with music already done, sent it to him. So I know I'm excellent at that. I could be better at screenwriting. I have 0 gifts in scoring a film. That's why when it's time for me to get a project together, I have to workshop that second part if it's something I'm writing for the film. And if it's sometimes scoring, I call Alex Statiker. Or I call musicians that I know and say, hey, listen, here's what I got. It's not much, but can you come up with something? And because Alex Statiker is excellent at scoring a film, that's who I can trust. So the first step is write those things out. Fill that scorecard up. Then the second thing I want you to do is do the same thing, but write in those columns what others would say you're excellent at. Turn to another page and say what others would say you're excellent at, what others would say you could be better, and what others would say you have zero gifts in. Well, I know that's that zero gift. Don't dwell too much on the zero gift thing. Sometimes you have to do that. People are, I'll get up there, lift every voice and say. Sorry, baby. We're gonna let her sing that. It's going. We're gonna find something else. You're a better dancer. You're gonna be featured on that dance. But in that singing thing, we're gonna move that to somebody else who has gifts in it. And that's how we do it. Once you write what others would say about you, this is going away, so get it here. Here's the final process that's going to give you some revelations. Triangulate. 2, throw away. Column 3. 3, focus on number 1 and number 2, with the understanding I could do this all day with unlimited money coming in. Do what you love, it'll love you back. By triangulate, what do I mean by triangulate? Put it all together. Compare the two. If you consistently see in those two comparisons something that you're excellent at, something that you say you're excellent at and other people tell you you're excellent at, keep it. If you see things that people say you're good at, could be better, that's great. You keep those. If you consistently see in that third column things that you have zero gifts in that people would say and you would say yourself, just leave it alone. Focus on number 1 and 2 and recognize that by focusing on 1 and 2, unlimited resources are coming your way because you do what you love and it will love you back. That's your finishing for homework. Sorry. Drew, I'm killing y'all. Y'all gonna be like, man, I'll be writing so fast. Triangulate. I won't even judge whether. I'm going to say. Nobody corrected me. Well, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to go on a joint spelling journey for 2024. The year of spelling. No, we're going to go for our affirmation for today as we wrap this up. Prep if you have questions we have on this. Affirmation number 3 for steadfast purpose. I am walking in perfect harmony with my purpose. I gratefully embrace it daily. Let us say that together. I am walking in perfect harmony with my purpose. I gratefully embrace it daily. So it is spoken, so it is received, so it is. Ashe. All right, let's round up the universe of applause. We did a lot of work today, y'all. We did a lot of work today. And I won't keep us too long, but I do want to open the floor, and Brother Tyrell has the mic. He can pass it to whoever has a question. But what questions do you have on today's lesson, today's If Teaches? What questions do you have that are present that we can address right now? If you have a question online, I'll go to the podium over here. If you have a question online, shoot it to me, and I will read it aloud in the chat. Do not be afraid to take this moment to interact. And Tony, you can scroll our information on the bottom as well. Yes.
Hey, Tony, can you go back to the slides? That one that had the Assur and
Sorry, yeah.
What was the one where
The JED column?
No, it had Assur and Set. Is that?
Yes.
It showed the whole demonstration.
Yeah, it was on there. Yeah.
The picture.
It's going to take a second to reset, but get your questions ready and in line.
Nope, keep going. It's going forward. think it was after
There we go.
That one.
That one. Take it back to the
back-
temple relief.
The temple relief.
Yes.
All right. With this one, a question that came to mind was what does this say, especially in these times where it feels like there's a lot of division amongst our communities, especially with the so-called woman and man. I was wondering, what is this depiction saying about us coming together, both the quote-unquote masculine and the feminine, and the roles that or the power that we can conjure when both are living in their purpose but coming together. That's kind of what came to my mind. Like how is this? What is this saying about all of those roles together rather than a set? You're just a woman, so only thing you can do is this, or
Yeah.
you get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. And that's particularly a good question. When you see this, and then Tony, after I go through this, I'm going to get you to go back to the remarkable, because I want to draw out some of this. Actually, go back to the remarkable now, and I'm going to give you that. You go back to my remarkable. Yes, go back to the smaller one. I think I'm still sharing on that. But what you point out is really important, Tyrell, because if you see this, Asar, he's laid out.
Yeah.
You know, he's laid out. That 180 degrees, that's the symbol, that's death. There is no life there. The balance of the energy of Aset, and if you see them in hieroglyphics, don't y'all mess around and think I'm a hieroglyphics expert. Y'all need to watch In Class with Carr. Get Mario Beatty. But when you see the symbols of Asar and Aset, they are basically the same. Aset has an extra flag there. But if you notice the balance, there is always a continual balance here. Just like there's a balance between the sun and the moon, between what we call positive and negative energy. If we look at this, the magnet connection happens when you put those polarities together. It's the space of balance. So this is not one of those modern neoliberal conversations about gender and fluidity and choices and sexuality. None of that. That's not. That's a separate conversation. It's completely different. Regardless of who you love, how you love, and where you are, there is a balance in community. There is a balance that takes place. There are times in rites of passage and cultures where the men have to take the young men away to teach them what it means to become a man. There are times when the women go, whether that's the rites of passage or the red tent ceremony, when a woman comes of age in adolescence, where they have to tell them. When there were times when I was a single dad with my oldest daughter, when my daughter went through the change, I was very, very clear. I was like, okay, Mama,
Yeah.
Gussie, my sister, can y'all come over to my house right now? Right. I can read 20 books on that. It's not gonna that's not my space. And that's a space to even fathers out there. That is a sacred space, but that is about that balance. So it is the balance that knows that when we are laid out, depending on each other with the bird there, that is what causes us to rise. That is what they say, rising to a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle, which is called in Masonic culture, a living perpendicular. A living perpendicular. So it is exactly the balancing energy that brings us about. We're out of balance when we create gender wars and we participate in them. When you start having conversations, what's wrong with these women out here? Sisters, man, they don't stop. Girl, live your best life. You don't need to, okay, stop. Living a healthy choice. Anything that starts with only the negative lead, that's always going to generate the negative energy. No community has existed generationally, no community, not a country, when there was not some balanced space. There are some times, in interpersonal relationships and community relationships, where we're going to need backbone to come in different ways at different times from different people. There are times when we're going to need some emotional feminine support that is there to balance us when we're in hard times. And get this, the powerful thing about balance is each one of us has within us the masculine and the feminine energy. Do you realize that you are incomplete without acknowledging both within you? That's the beauty of coming back to life. Coming back to life is recognizing when to invoke the feminine energy, when to invoke the masculine energy. That's why balance, again, going back to point one, goes with self first. And self will allow you to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And so that positive energy and that negative energy, which in this case is just balancing energy, we don't make them pejorative by saying one is better or one is worse, but that's what you see in the symbol of the yin and yang. That's why humanity always has to lean on each other. The beauty of humanity is this diversity. I run from anybody who is trying to promote supremacy of one over the other. That's out of balance. So that yin and yang symbol, which is incorporating all of those balancing points. Hot, cold, dry, wet, all of those. A great question. Great question. All right, any other question? Comment, anything? Oh, pass it back to the back, Tara, or to Trey. Love y'all. I know y'all going to do great things.
So a question that came up for me was, as we're doing this work of more closely aligning with our purpose, I guess the question that came up for me is, what signs will appear when a space or container is, your gifts are greater than the container or space that we're currently in? What are the signs that we need to move on? Yes.
In another exercise and demonstration of being Captain Obvious when it no longer serves you. And Denzel, I'm gonna tell you this because brother to brother, man, and Denzel's got just this marvelous mind. If you ever talk to him or read any of his posts, this marvelous mind. When you're really smart, oh my gosh, it's tough. I've been around some really smart people, and I can tell you, it can be tough because you can be so smart that you can talk yourself into anything. You can talk yourself out of anything. And because you have so much overwhelming creativity going on in your mind, you find ways to stay attached to circumstances and situations that ain't serving you anymore. That's why one of the songs that I love, the wait is over. Walk into your season. I know that you've invested a lot. The return has been slow. Sometimes the long investment is good because long investment is going to give you long growth. But there's sometimes where you just empty your investment into a pit that is giving you no return. I am giving you permission right now to leave it alone, to drop it, to drop the things that no longer serve you. If you're not getting traction over a period of time that is affirming you, the universe will speak to you through all sorts of ways and through all sorts of voices. You might be sitting with your head in your hand. Like I was 32 years ago, 33 years ago, when I had not eaten for 6 days, and I was sitting in a sit-in at Tennessee State as a president of the Student Government Association. I was sitting in a stairwell with the guy who was the vice president of SGA. And we had all of these young people, hundreds of people out here, not been to class in days, out here starving, people bringing food from the community, no end in sight. And I'm sitting in a stairwell in the middle of the night. And I got my head between my hands. And my friend, brother, vice president comes up to me, man. He says, man, what's up, man? You all right? I was like, man, AJ, I'm not ashamed to admit this. I said, man, are we doing the right thing? Some of these kids, man, they 18 years old, 19 years old. I said, we brought them down here, and maybe we should give the administration what they want. As a matter of fact, maybe I should give them what they want. Because what they told me was, we'll end this if you let us put you in jail and expel you from school. We won't punish anybody else. So to me, that was a simple choice. I was like, we come this far. We gotten a whole lot of stuff. We had 14 demands. They gave us 13. The only one that's sticking is amnesty. We don't want anybody to be punished from having a protest. And I said, but if it's sticking with me, man, maybe I should just go down there and just turn myself in right now. If it's gonna hurt the people. And he said, well, I'm gonna go with you. Because if they take you, they gotta take me. I was like, man, that's good. I appreciate that. But maybe the two of us should go because everybody else doesn't deserve this. And this girl named Shantae, I'll never forget. She was a freshman. She came up. She said, oh, y'all talking? Y'all busy? I said, no, we're okay. We're just chatting. She said, I just wanted to thank y'all. I said, for what? She said, I've never done anything that's important in my life. And we'll be able to make a change that's going to help people. And we wouldn't be here without y'all helping us with this. And she was like, she just said, I just wanted to say that. And she left. Me and AJ were like, all right, man, all right, we can do this. We can do this. Like 3 days later, it was all over. Got everything. Everybody was free. So I say that to say that when you're doing the right thing, people will appear. Opportunities will appear that tell you that you're doing it. There are also signs that tell you that it's a dead end. And it's okay. Because I want you to get the things that are for you as opposed to traveling on a dead end and getting really good at doing dead end stuff. I used to do a lot of work, go to nursing homes and talk to people. There's a reverse inspiration that comes from talking to elders who have not lived dreams. There's a regret, man. You don't want to see, if you've never seen it, you do not want to see it. It will change you forever. But the good thing is when somebody who has lived a life and have done other things and got really good and successful at it, but when they look at you and they say, baby, I don't care what, you better live your dreams. It hits different. So I'm going to tell y'all, baby, I don't care what, y'all better get on purpose and get on purpose today because it's time for it. All right, other comment, other question. We live in those experiences, Brother Jute said, them libations coming out of those tear ducts. It's a living libation. Brother Trey.
Thank you. I just want to digress a little bit, I guess change the subject. We were speaking about the Jed, and we referenced the phallus. And I was just curious when it comes to modern or Western religion, most of the ideology comes from Kemet. So I was wondering when it comes to like holding yourself from sexual activities or anything like that, does withstanding your sexual energies have anything to do with the yoni and the phallus coming from the Kemetic system, if that makes any sense?
Clarify for me.
Like in a religious sense, they
Yes.
teach that it's, withstand yourself from, sexual experiences.
Sure. Sex is bad.
Right. That's what they say. And then there's also, your Eastern culture where you have others who, don't have sex. So I'm just curious, I guess what I'm trying to say is in the culmination of this practice of withstanding yourself from sexual activity, we were referencing the yoni and the phallus. So is there any correlation of holding that energy in to use it to manifest the things that you actually need versus just withdrawing yourself from all this lust and desire in this physical world?
Sure. What we're talking about is also discipline, right?
So that's actually what I was just trying to say. There,
Yes.
Is there any kind of disciplinary action that has to come with the sexual energy and the source of manifestation?
Yes, there's both of that.
Right.
Now, everything is interpretation.
Right.
This concept of sex is bad as it relates to religion is often about controlling other people's bodies. So it's the same thing. It's the same principle that says, I will go to church on Sundays. I will be very judgmental. I will utilize my extensive wealth to influence the Supreme Court to control women's bodies. I will do everything in secret, but I will tell everybody else that they need to not have sex so that I can then regulate what they're doing. I had a brief, almost moment of conflict with a pastor who was teaching people to not have sex and to be holy in the church. And that we're going to go for this period of time on this fast and we're not going to have sex. And I was like, well, I'm sensing some resistance. Well, I said, there, of course, is resistance because you got some thighs at your house every night. And you squeezing up against some, biceps and triceps and all of that, but you're telling people not to do that. But you're not saying, my wife and I are going to join you on this journey, and we're going to deny ourselves, and meanwhile miss everybody else. We're going to miss out on the endorphins. So sex is both good and bad. There are people who, and you will know, we all will know, there are points and times when we're out of control. Fasting or abstaining is a good practice when you are out of control. When you reach a point where you're taking a substance over much and you realize that you put 2 and 2 together, again, when you talk about action, you're talking about thought, you're talking about manifestation, when you convert those things, every time I take this particular action, I wake up the next day and I feel like crap and I've destroyed some relationships. Guess what? Time to abstain to get some clarity. When you find that you are looking for love in all the wrong places because you are not able to connect, so you're using your phallic tool, yonic tool to connect and try to find real, you're out of control. You want to make sure that any activity that you undertake, including sex, if you decide to abstain for a period so that you can get clarity, then you're sure what your choices are. Then you know that you are making a correct choice. Is this something that is going to feed my spirit? Because anytime you connect with somebody, particularly sexually, you are exchanging energy. And people, we get taught, especially the toxic masculine side gets taught, well, now you can get into a space where, man, it ain't nothing but me. This is just recreation. Well, how empty does the soul become when you get to a point where you say that something that created the resurrection, as you saw in that relief, a deeply spiritual and profound interaction can now be categorized as something that don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing to me. When you get to that space, that's when you definitely should abstain and explore yourself. So that's a really good question. Again, you have to do what works with you. What I found is there is no cookie cutter solution for every single person. Some people can be fully self-realized and they can say, I'm engaging in a particular activity because whatever my reasons are, and I am still continuing to move on my purpose. Some people will engage in activity and wake up with regret and shame and anger and frustration. That is no longer serving you. So it's good to be able to mark that and get control. And again, that's on an individual, because you also have things like past relationships, you have sexual trauma. Sex means something different to different people. But if something is coming up in your spirit that's saying you need a period where you need to explore that, and take that period, listen to your spirit and make that choice accordingly. Excellent question, man. Excellent. All right. Any more? Do I have anything online, Tom? Gotcha. Go ahead. Go ahead, Drew. Pass it up so I can hear you. I hear a lot, see a lot. I must change my focus. I got you. Gotcha.
All right.
What you got, Drew?
I'm not exactly, this is going to be a little difficult to put together, but like when we talk about abstaining and we talk about like dreams and the places you are, the things you do serving you, I think there comes a lot of fear that if you abstain from a particular relationship, say, and after a certain period of time, you're going, I don't really miss that relationship. There's that fear. So it appears it's not serving you, but there's that fear that if you then end that relationship for good, that you're never going to be able to get it back. So, and I'm like literally talking about three things at once, relationship with my work, relationship with my family, and relationship with the past. And it's like, if you let it go, so how are you supposed to manage the possibility that you could be making a mistake or that you could change later? I guess that's the best I can do.
Well, that's pretty doggone good, man. When we talk about moving on, a lot of times when we talk about fear, it's coming from a space of lack. Lack tells us I may not have, I may not find, I may not get, I may not receive. And so because of this, this becomes the vibrational frequency. This becomes the active word. So what becomes manifest is even more lack. Oftentimes when that situation, we confuse the fear and the lack with grief. Grief comes as a natural part of release. It's natural. I lost somebody. Somebody walked away from me. My job ended. That's grief. And grief has to be mourned through its stages. There's anger, there's disbelief, right? There's the fearfulness, there's the acute accusations that take place, then there's the acceptance. And, all of these things, there's the confusion, and they don't operate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I tend to have to reframe my mind because I'm a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type person. I'm abstract. I can think about things abstractly, but when it comes time to get it done, I got to create that checklist. Boom, 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 boom. There it is. But it's important though to say, what if I change this model here, and instead of lack, I'm thinking abundance. Then what happens here is, come on, man, you already spoke it. No. I'm taking it away. I'm going even deeper. It's not I will have, I will find. We get rid of everything. It's just I. I have the love of my life. I find new opportunities. I get money. I receive the good. All things are working in my favor. That's the difficult. Listen, man, this stuff is not easy. I don't want y'all to think that it's easy because it gets hard. You will be tested. You will be tested the second you proclaim this. I promise you, I got to prepare you for this because I'm not going to tell you, it's just going to make you feel good. Because the moment you live in here, you say, all things are working in my favor. Everybody say that.
All things are working in my favor.
As soon as you take a right on Nocturne Drive and get on White's Creek, somebody might test you then. You might get a test. I'm serious. That's how quick it happens.
Yes.
Because the nature of proof is what Earth, Wind, and Fire said written in the stone is coming in my head. Do you believe, my friend, in what you claim? People of the world all doubt the same, raising questions of their own. Truth is written in the stone. That relief was on the stone. Truth is, there is resurrection. Truth is, you do get another chance. Truth is, you can operate in abundance and not lack. And then, therefore, when you're even operating in abundance, you see grief differently.
Yes.
There are things that come in your world where they say, man, how you doing? People ask me that, man, how you doing? I know your mom, became an ancestor. You lost your mom. How you doing? And I have to say, you know what? Sometimes it's day to day, but I'm grateful that she was here for us. And that is because I recognize that her energy is now unbound in the atmosphere. And that when I pass something on to y'all, oftentimes I can hear my mama saying it or my daddy saying it 20 years ago. That means they left something in me. They already gave me a gift. So I have abundant opportunities to share that, even as I understand I'm going through grief. But if I'm operating from a space of lack, then it's, oh God, why did you do this to me? What did I do to deserve all of this? I ain't never hurt nobody. Everything I tried turns to crap and everybody. And then I create that vortex and I can't get out of it.
Yeah.
But the recognition, to your point that you made, it is the recognition that you are going through that is the first step. I'd be worried if you didn't recognize it and if you didn't see a way out. But anytime we see ourselves going down a path and we're able to at least have one little spark that says, you know what, something's wrong here. I need to work on something. That is a sign that you're heading in the right direction. Shift that to the space of abundance. Everything is working in my favor. All things are working in my favor all the time. It's a powerful affirmation. We'll be tested, but guess what? We're going to move through it anyway. All right. Any others before we? Oh, go ahead, Deanna. Had one. Pass that mic over so I can hear you at home.
Hello.
Hey.
I just wanted to go back really quick to the asset conversation. Just because when I started to try to write the note down, I ended up with an extra S in asset, which becomes an asset. And so if an asset, so then I got, and so if asset is an asset because of her womb, which is the gift of creation, then in that place, when you're trying to control that gift, trying to control that asset, that's kind of where we get into that misalignment that we were talking about earlier. So I just want to point that out there because I was like, oh, look, that extra S makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference, right? I love it. See, this is what I love about it. It teaches this energy comes out of it, teaches himself. That's why even with an asset that you have, and again, it could be actually pronounced that way because in the Kemetic language, modern times, we don't have the vowels. So we don't know if it's asset, offset. Some people put a U in it with a sarset. So it very well could be pronounced asset. But when we hit the asset, there's sometimes when we need a reset. And that's what ritual is. Ritual is an asset. Ritual is infinity. You come on Sundays or you watch online. You come because it gives you a reset. There are times for those of you who've been with me in that backyard, there's sometimes we go into the sweat lodge. If you've been in there with me, you know, and we're rebuilding that thing. It's going to be beautiful. Before the end of the summer, we're going to do another lodge. But the lodge in the Lakota tradition and other First Nations people traditions, the lodge is a dome that represents the womb. You go in there and reset. And according to traditions, you see the top half, but spiritually, there is a bottom part that goes under the ground that completes the circle. Therefore, the entrance that you come in and out of is the entrance and the exit of the womb. That's why when you come in, you come out, you say Mitaquiasan in the Lakota language. Lakota means all my relations. So all your people are in the womb. All of who you are is in the womb. All that you need to reset is in the room. And we may not have this language here. For grandmama and all those people in the South, this was the sweat lodge. It was a prayer closet. And they went in there in the prayer closet and got in a quiet space and hit the reset button. That's what it is. It's so everybody, even in this space, get the reset button. Guess what is happening in here? I'm going to give you some attributes for people who have not sweat yet and had this experience. Sweat lodge is an experience that has to be felt and not described. Like most indigenous folks, you just got to feel that thing. Since my cousin Karen will tell you, you got to feel it. You can't describe it intellectually. It's just a feeling, it's a knowing. But inside that lodge, it's dark. It's hot. It could be wet when the steam gets in there. And it's going to be small. That's a reality. Guess what? And y'all do not laugh over much. Y'all know this is a person. Yes, that's a womb. Oh my God. Oh yeah, you thought it was a yoga pose. You thought that was tree. You see it, the guy the ponytail, I'll put some eyes on there. But that's a womb, right? That's a womb. And as a baby, it's dark in there. It's warm and wet with the amniotic fluid. And you crouch down as a baby in the fetal position because it's tight. And that security there is what makes you, when you emerge back from this birth canal into the world, that's what makes you say, no, 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 put me back. Y'all know that's what babies are saying. When they come out, they ain't saying, hey, good to see you. They're like, why did you do that to me? It was good in there. It's cold out here, a bunch of weird looking people. Lord have mercy, I was good. I didn't have to eat. I could breathe water. The heartbeat was keeping me going. And now you done pulled me out in this place where people just passing me around. And eventually we learn to deal with it. But spiritually, we are naturally called to seek those experiences that remind us of who we are and where we are. And that's the beauty of an experience like that. This room is a womb. We come in here for sacred service. We go back out. We're like, oh, got reborn. The portal online, infinite stream. It's a place where we go. And it's like, oh, you know what? Oh, I remember. We get that during the week. People email us like, man, I haven't been around in a while. I caught up and I was like, I got on. I was like, oh, now. Oh, I remember. That's what the benefit of ritual is. And that's the benefit of ritual of the community. And that's how we make that thing work. And that's how we make sure that we are successful from the womb. Look at that doorway to the tomb. And then the cycle just continues to go back and forth. That's what I love about it. It's a lifelong pursuit. Yes.
So just as a quick follow-up to that, from the concert last night, Beyonce had a lot of visuals around the womb, around the portal through the womb, as far as like it was amazing as far as visuals. So if you can go back, hashtag Beyonce, you know.
Hashtag Beyonce. Yeah, y'all tag Beyonce in the post.
World Tour, whatever.
That's great.
It's like, because like she actually had the woman's leg, and so you're actually going through the portal and you're actually seeing life and creation. She's like, it was great. So this whole creation concept, visually, you know, I know you got your picture.
I won't share that picture with Beyonce, but yeah.
But visually, she really like takes that to a whole nother level. So
yeah, and if you see, even with Beyonce, the thing that I do appreciate about her, because one of the songs, somebody sent me a clip that like 20 years ago today, a bunch of songs and singles came out. But if you look at her music when it came out, it was great. It was poppy, but it's different. She's evolved, and people who follow her have evolved with her. And you see that. Erykah Badu is coming to Bridgestone. Somebody sent me some North Carolina, one of her performances there. She had the whole Kepra Beatles Scarab light show coming up. Symbolism is there, but you see that as people grow and they get enlightened, they begin to share this thing. They begin to symbol it. They connect with somebody like Blitz Bazawule, or I had the opportunity to meet him, Blitz the ambassador, and he's directing a Color Purple musical that's coming out. And got to hang out with him in New York a few years ago. Brilliant guy, brilliant label guy. So he directed Black is King for her. And so she's been encountering a lot of people with all of this cultural knowledge who have been pouring into her. And she's like, you know what? You pouring into me. I know people follow me for music, but here's another opportunity to share other stuff that are going to. Black is King sent people to the library. They would start reading and started to understand the symbolism. My brother and I did that talk. It's had 40, 50,000 views on it because people want to understand that. That's the gift of living on purpose. When you do that, people say, you know, oh, I think I see something there. Let me dig a little deeper. She's doing what she loves and it's loving her back. And so that's what we want everybody in this space to be. All right. So that is today. I think with the chat, people love Blitz. As I got you, we might have some connection issues, but the good thing is we're still streaming, and everybody that's going to get this is going to get this. Share it and get with somebody. Everybody take a deep breath. Exhale, let's stand to our feet. I'm going to take Lady Kanitha's mic back over to her so we can seal this out with some prayer energy. Go ahead and place your hands over your heart. And from that heart space, Tony, give me my podium mic, please, sir. From that heart space, go ahead and close your eyes. I live in the overflow. I live in the overflow. That's all that I need to know. I live in the overflow. Sing it with me. I live in the overflow. I live in the overflow. That's all that I need to know. I live in the overflow. One more time, sing. I live in the overflow. I live in the overflow. That's all I need, that I need to know. I live in the overflow. Now that we got to see it and feel it, come on. And I live in the overflow. I live in the overflow. And that's all that I need, that I need to know. I live in the overflow. So just I live in the overflow. I live in the overflow. One more time. I live in the overflow. Divine Spirit, we give thanks in this moment today. We thank you for this gathering. We thank you for the timeliness of this message. We thank you for purpose that is flowing through our veins right now in our spirits. We thank you for the recognition that all things are working for our good. We thank you for the gift of community right now, and we thank you for the gift of focus and the gift of family. We thank you for the hands that reach up under our arms and lift us up in those times when we are failing and falling. We give thanks for those who stand shoulder to shoulder with us in moments where we may be moving to the side, to keep our backbone straight, to keep us upright, perpendicular on the square of life and living. We give thanks for the gift of love, for the gift of power, for the gift of community. and yes for the gift of purpose. We go forth in this space with the I, the understanding that I am healed, the understanding that I am whole, that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I'm not accepting anything other than the good. We speak and proclaim these things to be true. So it is, and so it is, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. Rub those hands together. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release on the count of 3. Send that love energy around. 1, 2, 3. We got this, y'all. Give the universe a round of applause as we sang today. Moving on out. Appreciate y'all, man. As we get ready to sway a little bit, come on and sway a little bit to the left and the right. Man, we've been so on point lately with our energies, and we've been hitting about 11:30, 11:35. I looked up, I said, wait a minute, where'd that time go? But it's going to be a good investment, because here forward, all of the great things that are coming for you, y'all don't understand. You're going to start seeing signs immediately. Trust me. Many of you have already seen those gifts emerge. So the brighter day is already here. You are on your way. And this journey is going to be one of life, one of love, and one in power. Let us sing together. The words are on the screen here and at home. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin. Then we begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. If, take it up. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God's reminding me. God's reminding me. Grab somebody's hand next to you and say, God's reminding me. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. Raise those hands up together. We speak in this moment that the God of our acceptance and understanding, the power of divine spirit, the power of the ancestors in the cosmos rest, rule, rock, and abide with us henceforth, now, and forevermore. Let us sing. Amen. Amen. Hotep Shalom. Namaste. Hashem. We love you guys. Go forth. Have a good time today. Love on each other. We'll be virtual for Yoga Sunday, and it's going to be awesome. And then we're right back with the next principle, number 4. Love you guys. That's a fact you cannot change. See you next week. Like and share this with everybody.